At this point, you can add a simple sauce or just have it like that. I love lamb. So I leave it as is because I want to taste it, like I said. And here we go. Now it's the little bit of salsa, a little bit of oxtail, a little bit of lamb, and plantain.
Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to the BHM cooking class. We are super excited to have you all tonight among us. It's going to be a fun event with delicious food, with delicious recipes. So I hope you're all excited for that. So once again, welcome everyone. My name is Akashdeep Singh and I'm your student life coordinator for the HMC campus. And we are super excited to host this event for you all. So before we actually get started, I'm just gonna introduce Basma Sultan. She's from the Sheridan Edge. So she would be talking about the Sheridan Edge for a couple of minutes, and then we will get into the actual event afterwards.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And hi, everyone. Great to be here with you on February 1st. Great to be here with, I see representation from the Black Student Association. And so great to be here with you tonight. So I'll be only with you for a few minutes to tell you about a program that we are, that we have at EDGE. So EDGE, for those of you who don't know what EDGE is Sheridan's Entrepreneurship Hub. And one of our many programs is Social Impact Catalyst, powered by RBC Future Launch. And the program is a 14-week summer program that will be running this coming summer between May and August, targeting youth specifically from 15 to 29 who are interested in social impact, entrepreneurship, and how to lead a social venture. This is, one of several cohorts that are to come. And so the theme for this cohort for the year of 2022 the theme is climate change and environmental sustainability. And so anyone who is interested in applying and have an idea interested in bringing it to SIC, to Social Impact Catalyst, need to have the idea related to that theme. It's open to all Sheridan students as long as you're 29 and under, but it's also open to individuals not from Sheridan. So if you have friends that you think would be interested in this, again, if they're 29 under, they're welcome to apply. They need to be living in Peel or Halton region. If they're slightly outside, they can still email and we can see if we can do something about it. And the time commitment over the summer would be relatively around 5 hours a week for pre-scheduled learning events and other activities. So the program offering includes workshop series where you get to learn about entrepreneurial topics. There's also one-on-one mentorship support, so you're not going to be on your own. You'll be working with experts who would be able to coach you throughout the process. There's also a $2,000 honor area for the individuals who apply and get into the program. You would be accessing experts in impact entrepreneurship, and we would also be supporting to promote your venture. And you'll be part of a youth Changemaker Summit that we would be hosting later that summer. So in terms of next steps, if you are interested in applying, I'm going to pop the direct link that you see on here in the chat. Applications, you can actually go in and apply right now if you are super duper eager and you want to get ahead of it. And let me just stop sharing so I can see the chat. So you can look into the application, give it a thought. Applications will be open till March 18 if you are interested in applying. And then the last thing I want to talk about before I wrap it up is I find with students, especially at Sheridan, sometimes they're really eager, they're really curious about this kind of stuff, but they might feel, I need some preparation. Like I really want to do this, but I feel I'm not ready. So we've heard you out and we've created a program just for Sheridan students, which is a co-curricular program that introduces you to the entrepreneurial mindset and knowledge and skills. It's estimated time commitment for it is about 20 hours over 6 months. So you can take your sweet time with it if you want, or you can do it over a couple of weekends. If you're interested in kind of strengthening your entrepreneurial mindset before applying to this program, to Social Impact Catalyst, it's not a prerequisite to get into Social Impact Catalyst, but it's a way of extra support for those that are interested. And that's it. So that's my email. If you have any questions, I will pop it in the chat. I will also pop the link to the presentation itself in the chat if you want to review it after. And we are also on social media, and our website is edge.sheridancollege.ca. And that's it. I would love to take questions, but I don't think there's time, so I don't want to hog the presentation, but I'll pop all the links in the chat shortly.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Basma. That was a really wonderful information that you shared. So I really hope that you look into it, and definitely if you have any questions, you can just put them in the chat and Basma will be able to answer them. So yeah, that was it. Thank you so much, Basma.
Yeah, I'll stick around for 5 minutes and hide in the background and respond to the chat if anyone has any questions.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for that. All right, so here we go. Before we get started, I just quickly wanted to let you all know what is happening at Sheridan Student Union over in the month of February. So during the Black History Month, on February 3rd, 10th, and 13th, there will be some coffee talks where you can get a chance to meet amazing folks that are paving the path to success in incredible ways. We'll be having Shante Parsons, a production coordinator at Chorus, Treadle Lambert to share his work to highlight Black heroes, and Career Roundtable networking events. And after that, we are having our clubs fair, our winter clubs fair. So if you are interested in joining a club, or if you have some ideas to start your own club, so I would definitely recommend you to join this winter clubs fair event, and you will meet a lot of different people with same interests, and you will be able to build some networks over there. So we are also having a Living Works workshop to help students develop suicide awareness and life-saving skills. After that, we are also having a Filling with Friends. So it would help you to learn how to fill out your taxes as an international student and find help to file your taxes this year, just only for $20. After that, we are having a drag bingo with Kendall Gender from Canada's Drag Race. So there will be a lot of prizes to give away. So do come for that event. Our bingos are always really fun and really popular events among the Sheridan students. Then we have our Black Sheridan Open Mic Night. So we are calling all the performers to come and showcase your talent, and students to cheer and support. So we are also having a Black History Month paint night. So you can sign up before the event to get your free paint set to join in on a wonderful evening with Mika Nelson as she takes on a well-being journey. So this event would be kind of like an art therapy where you would be drawing in the live event, and also you'll get the free paint kit if you sign up before the actual event. And last but not the least, we just want to let you know that we are on all the socials. So you can follow us on our Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and the Twitter also. So these are social handles so that you stay up to date with all the events that we are organizing for you. Now, let me introduce to our tonight's chef, Patience Chirisia. So born in Zimbabwe, Chef P wears many hats: mother, grandmother, chef, recipe developer, culinary arts instructor, food and wine pairing expert, lifestyle writer, analysis, and among many others. Chef P brings her vivacious, festive style of cooking and demonstrating culinary skills to Wine Dine Africa, the magazine, and the Rogers TV program. Chef P's unofficial motto is fresh, local, seasonal, and organic. Her recipes blend traditional African ingredients with flavors familiar to Canadian, US, and the worldwide. Chef P has also written a children's book series, which you may purchase at zanzoe.com. We will share the link in the chat as well as Wine Dine Africa, which can be found at the bookstores now. So I am going to pass it on to Chef P to start our today's cooking class.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Patience Teresa. Thank you so much for the introduction. Like he said, I've been cooking for approximately 20 years. My passion is African cooking. I'm Canadian trained, so I'm a certified chef, but being originally from Africa, proudly African, I've always tried to introduce African food worldwide. So I'm not just limited to just cooking African food, but that's my passion. So thank you so much for this opportunity to teach you a few easy recipes. I would say it's easy to medium. So feel free to ask me any questions. I'm open and I always love to hear if you've had experience eating African food. So I think you raise your hand if you have any questions and the moderator will let me know and I'm here to answer any questions. So I'll go into our first recipe. If you notice, I've already started grilling the lamb chops. The reason being, my lamb chops here, just in the interest of time. Generally, you'd go to any shop and buy some lamb chops, and I have right now inside grill. Funny story, this is not my home, it's my temporary home. We got flooded. I own a condo and upstairs flooded, so we had to leave for a few weeks. So we're in a hotel right now, so excuse the size for now, but thankful that I have a roof over my head. So I'll continue on my demonstration. If you can see, I have a pot going here with hot water. What I'm demonstrating here is called sadza, and that's S-A-D-Z-A. It's a pretty simple recipe. If you've had Italian food, you might know it as polenta. The difference with this is that this is a staple in Africa. We have a lot of cornmeal. In Africa, we actually call it maize meal. Different variety, but same concept. It's a staple in Africa. That's what basically everyone eats. Just like you would normally find rice as a staple, we would use cornmeal or plantain or fufu. But basically today, I'm going to demonstrate the sadza. So what I've had going so far is I've had approximately about 2 cups of water boiling for the past few minutes. Get it to a boil, but not extreme boil. What I'm doing, it will make sense in a minute why we do that. And then I have cornmeal. With my cornmeal, you can get this anywhere. I find places like No Frills are a bit more open to having the cornmeal, but you can basically find it at most grocery stores nowadays. I prefer to use the one which is slightly not gritty. They have 2 different types, which you can use depending on your taste, but I prefer the a bit smoother one. So you would go in and buy approximately a smaller size or bigger size, depending on how many people you're cooking for. I have cold water in my hand, and what I'm trying to do is pour some water into the cornmeal I've already poured in here. And I put approximately about a cupful of cornmeal. And the whole idea here is to create a paste. It shouldn't be too watery, neither should it be doughy. So when I find it's a bit consistent like this, what I'll do, add just a little bit more water, because basically what I'm trying to do is do a nice smooth paste. The reason we started off like this, there's 2 types of cooking sadza. I'm showing you the easiest. Sadza can be bland, which means that anything you're going to use as your meats and veggies has to be a bit more spicy. So sadza is kind of bland, almost like rice. We've got different types of rice as well. You've got the jasmine rice and you've got all these types of rice. But sadza basically is bland. So when I put the paste like this, I will go over to my stove and gently add it into the pot and stir. The reason I keep stirring without just dumping the whole thing is basically to just make sure that I don't get any lumps. If you have lumps in your sadza or your preparation right now, what ends up happening is you can taste the uncooked cornmeal, and that's not a very pleasant experience. So you add it slowly. With experience, you really don't measure much, you kind of know. And like for us, we grew up cooking and eating sadza all our life. So we go by we know how to do it without the measurements. But my recommendation, I don't know if you did pass on the recipes, is 2 cups of water and 1 cup of cornmeal. So what I'll do is I will gently keep stirring. I don't know if you can see this well. It becomes a nice paste. The whole idea is to try and avoid having any lumps. And I will bring that to you. So it becomes almost like a porridge, oatmeal kind of look. Okay. It would be really nice if you pick it up and bring it over so you can see. If you can see how consistent I am, you don't want to ever put too much in there because then it doesn't boil. What I'm trying to do here is bring it to a gentle boil without burning the bottom. So if you notice, I didn't use all my cornmeal, but I have left reserved some. That's not going to go to waste. I'm definitely going to be using it in a minute. So I'll set that aside. I usually put a cap on the salsa because there's nothing like burning yourself when you're cooking salsa. But it's not the worst type of burn. Okay, so while my salsa is going, I'm going to demonstrate to you grilled lamb. Before I continue, are there any questions at all about preparing salsa? No? Has anyone ever eaten salsa?
There's a
Has
question
anyone
for
ever
you.
had an African meal?
Yeah, I have a question.
They have one question for you. It is about like what inspired you to go into the cooking professionally?
Interesting question because one of the things, I have 3 beautiful girls. One of them is Hillary. And one of the things I noticed is that when you go into a mall, there's not a lot of representation for African cooking. I mean, Jamaicans have come in and they've taken over, and proudly so. When I go to a Jamaican restaurant, I'm like, yes, representing Black people, right? So for me, it was trying to find that balance where when people think of Africa, generally they think World Vision. There's nothing wrong with World Vision. This is not a, I'm not insulting them, but they see poor Africans, but they don't look beyond that to say, what do they eat? So this was me coming in and saying, with very, very simple recipes, you could have a delicious African meal. And I think that is growing. I've seen over the past couple of years that people are a bit more open to trying. A lot of people, though, assume Moroccan food is actually not African. And it is actually African. So when I generally do these presentations, a lot of people are like, oh, I've had Moroccan, which is good, but there's different types of techniques all over Africa.
Thank you so much for that wonderful response.
Okay. Is it Vanessa? Is anyone else got a question?
She said yes, you answered.
Yes,
it right.
ma'am. Yes. I'm assuming you're loving the food so far. So you have to be careful. Like I said, it is popping. I usually have a lid. Like I said, this is not my home. This is temporary. So I don't have the lid right now. I'm using hotel facilities. So what I will do is I have the grilled lamb going. A lot of people find that the lamb tends to be a bit gamey. Some people like to, I don't know, put a lot of pepper to get away the gaminess. And when I say gamey, it's a different taste from chicken and beef like we typically are used to. I generally just try and stay away from putting too much or overwhelming the meat. I basically just salt and pepper and I put it on the grill. And this is a common technique in Africa because we have a lot of spices. Has anyone been to an African store? We have a lot of spices because we have a lot of influence, Indian influence. So a lot of our curries, a lot of our stuff originate from when people came to Africa. So I like to use spices personally, but maybe not on the grilled because I would add, I guess, a lot of flavor, just trying to taste the meat rather than overwhelming it. Okay, any questions so far? Who's eaten lamb? Show of hands, please.
No one so far.
Any questions? Maria, any questions so far? What is my favorite spice? My favorite spice. I like hot. So I like hot food. Some people shy away from hot food, and that's okay, heartburn. But I like hot spices, and I like to experiment with spices. So I'm one person who could cook you the best meal, and maybe you wouldn't be able to repeat it because I'm throwing in spices as I go. Okay. Um, your mom is the same way? Yep. Yeah. We cook by with love. I'll say that. So I'm going to finish demonstrating the salsa real quick because typically I would let it boil for about 10 minutes, but the stove is on high. I would keep it at medium. I'm going to get Hillary to come closer with the computer so I could just finish this meal before we move on to the next stage. So if you notice, at this point, it's smooth. I don't know if you can all see this. I hope you can, but it's all smooth. So you can do this. It's a simple meal, very tasty, by the way, when you add all the spices. So what I'll do is I'll do this. At this point, most people make a porridge from this. So what they would do is that they would just pour a little bit of the porridge into a plate, add peanut butter and honey or whatever for flavoring. It's almost like oatmeal, but tasty. So what I'll do is I will finish this off. So I have unprocessed cornmeal without the water, and I slowly add it to the pot. And the reason I'm doing this slowly is you don't want it to burn. If you notice as I'm going, it gets a bit tougher. So typically, by adding it slower, instead of that like oatmeal type of thing, what I'm getting is it gets a bit tougher. I don't know if everyone can see that. And my end goal is to create a paste. That paste is what will be the final product where we use our hands a lot in Africa, where we can dip into the soup and eat it, or use a fork. It's not a big deal. A lot of people are not using forks because of, basically we're using so many hand sanitizers these days. So yeah. So Hillary, if you focus on here, at this point, because if you notice, I would reduce the heat. Start making sure that you get any uncooked cornmeal. You notice my hand is simple. It's not too tough. So you don't want a tough salsa because then it goes down really hard and rocky. So you don't want that. So once I get kind of this like a, what would you say, Play-Doh kind of feeling, then I know my salsa is done. And that's it. That's how you make salsa, staple in Africa. And what I would do is I'll let it simmer for about 5 minutes. Which say is good for any occasion, for example, guests coming over, special events. I find like how you would serve rice, salsa would be your substitute. So you could use it for anything, right? Some people eat it plain with just a little bit of milk and sugar. So yeah, you could use this and decorate it or not decorate it as much as you want. I'll show you an example in a minute what I mean when I say decorated. So at this point, my salsa is done. I would remove it and I would put it on my plate. Okay, and go ahead and make a plate for Hillary. Because I made for 2 plates. Yep. The pot tends to get sticky at the bottom, so just put water in when it's still hot. It saves a lot of scrubbing later on. Okay, so that's my salsa done. Okay, with technology, I could do that. What is that?
Are there different colors of salsa?
Yes, that is a very important point. So if you're going to the shops, you'll find there's white cornmeal and there's yellow cornmeal. Another way of cooking salsa, if you want to make it more savory, is I would add a stick of butter. Adding a stick of butter makes it become a bit more like polenta, which is the Italian version of salsa. So, but for us, today I'm demonstrating the African version of salsa. Maybe next time I'll add a different version. So once I have my plate there, what I've done is I've gone ahead and made some plantain. How many people know what plantain is? You like plantain? So in a typical meal, what I've done is I had done a little bit of prep work because I love to cook. I love to cook, I love to experiment, I love sharing my passion. So I would add a few plantains onto this. If we had time, I will show you how to make the plantain. Sorry about that. I'll show you how to make the plantain, but it basically goes very well with salsa and it's easily accessible in Africa. So we eat a lot of plantain in Africa as a snack, as part of the meal. But how many people have had plantain? I saw you putting your hands up. Anyone else? Have you had plantain? No? Never? Okay, that's the next demonstration, maybe for next time. So my grilled lamb chops are looking good. Can we see? Turn it a little bit. The lamb chops are looking good. I had put a little bit of garlic there just to add a little bit of flavor. I'll add a little bit of salt. And like with every type of meat, once I switch off the stove, I'll let it rest for about 5 minutes. Who taught me how to cook? I actually went to Liaison College. So I'm a professional chef, trained here. But my family has been cooking. I've been in the kitchen for years. So I love to cook.
You marinate
it. You would marinate it in mint, the lamb chop if you wish. But for easy student cooking, you can go ahead and just do it like this. Okay, so I'm going to take off my lamb chop for a few minutes because I'm done with that. Something's done. And typically you'd let, like I said, let it rest for about 10 minutes before serving, just so that all the oils, all the fat, gets absorbed in that. And then do I have time to make the soup or not? No, looking at the time.
You do. Yes.
I do? Okay. Who knows how to make a simple stew? A simple soup? Because the reason I would add the stew to this meal, and while this is resting for 10 minutes, while my things, some of the questions are missing. No, but that's fine. Why I would probably add a simple onion and tomato soup, maybe with a hint of garlic, is because salsa tends to be a bit dry. So I will demonstrate with, I think it's been resting a few minutes. So typically salsa looks like this. I don't know if, yeah, it looks like this. So like I said, it is bland. And what we do typically is use our hands to eat it and soak in all the soup. Like for instance, what I'm going to demonstrate now. So in my pot, I will put a little bit of butter. Wait for that to heat up. The other alternative with salsa is I already prepared some oxtail, but this is just for demonstration. I know oxtail takes a long time. Who's had oxtail in this group? Who likes oxtail? Okay, so I've had a little bit of oxtail ready just for the demonstration, so you can see how I can eat it with salsa. You want to put it down? So I'll wash my hands real quick. Wash my hands real quick. Get a piece of salsa and you dip it. That's it. Very simple. It's more about getting the flavors in the meat and the soup. That's good answer. Excuse me. So let me do this real quick so I could finish off here. I have my butter going on in there. Add some onions to the pot. And while it's simmering, and we finish up the dish, I would love to find out if you have any questions or you'd like me to explain anything else. You love oxtail. You only tried it the first time a few months ago. What did you try? Did you have the Jamaican version? Did you cook it by yourself? The different types of soup is like the one I'm going to demonstrate. A simple onion and tomato is typical in an African dish. So we usually don't complicate it too much. And I'm using just regular onion, regular tomato. It shouldn't be too complicated. I'd also bought kale. You chop this up and do a quick steam fry, which you could add to the meal. So you can do kale or plantain like I did today. Okay. So while my onions are simmering and getting a bit yellow, I'm going to add some chopped tomatoes. And I'm going to add a clove of garlic in there. Questions for me?
Alrighty, your next question is, which restaurant and dish would you recommend someone to try if they never tried African food before?
Okay, depending on where you live. If you're in Ontario, downtown Toronto has a lot of African restaurants. I know in Hamilton, they just opened a new big African restaurant there. We had the pleasure of eating there. So generally, I would go to any African restaurant. I'm not biased either way, whether it's Nigerian, whether it's South African. Hey, if it's African, go and eat there and order and support us. Because a lot of people shy away from it thinking, and Mississauga, I've come across one or two restaurants which are African there. Where would that be? Dairy Lake? I don't think there's one in Square One yet, but watch this space. It might be mine. Okay.
And then I ordered food from a restaurant. We were exploring Jamaica with my kids. Wait, what? My kids virtually during lockdown. So we ordered food from around the world. That's from Mina.
Hey, that's nice. It's always nice to open up your. We love sushi, by the way. I'm allergic to it now, but we love sushi. So I'm not stuck on saying stick to one dish. However, especially with Black History Month, I would say if you can, please support Black restaurants, whether that's Jamaican, whether that's African, because we've got a long way to go before we are standard. So this is why I appreciate Sheridan even opening up the door to say, hey, could you teach our students something so simple as a simple African dish? So typically we would do this meal twice a week.
Which dish would you recommend to try first?
Okay. Sweet or savory? I would say go with something with less spices, because what happens, we tend to go overboard with the spices, and the African spices tend to be very hot. So if you want hot, go African. So I would say if you went into an African restaurant, I would ask for goat. I would ask for stewed chicken. And the stewed chicken we do is different from maybe a Caribbean restaurant, right? Because the spices are slightly different. A very popular dish is jollof rice. And you can find jollof rice in most African stores. It's very standard. There's always a debate who does it best. So if you go to a Nigerian restaurant, they're going to be like, oh, we're better. Kenyan restaurant, because they don't know where it started, whether it was Kenya or Nigeria. So depends on where you go. I personally prefer both. I like both. I find Nigerians tend to go a bit hotter on the on the jollof. Kenyans, it's a bit more subtle. So I would order jollof.
My daughter is loving my attempt at sadza. She's eating it all.
Oh, that's amazing. You see.
And yes, never ask who does
Yes.
it better. Biggest debates.
Yeah, never ask, because you will get people are very passionate about who does the best jollof rice. So I tend to stay away from that debate. So I have my simple onion and tomato soup. You can season it with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and basically you're done. I'm going to go ahead and just add it to my dish. By now, my lamb has been sitting for about 5 minutes or so. So it's almost ready to go. At this point, you can add a simple sauce or just have it like that. I love lamb. So I leave it as is because I want to taste it, like I said. And here we go. Now it's the little bit of saza, a little bit of oxtail, a little bit of lamb, and plantain. Any questions?
What advice would you give young people trying to cook new food from their culture?
Open mind. You have to have an open mind. I know I go to, I go to a Chinese restaurant and, standard is chicken balls, chicken wings, and that's it. Sometimes I try the noodles I've never tried. Or I'll go to an Indian restaurant and my go-to is always butter chicken. Yeah. But the other day we went and tried something and it was green. And I'm like, okay, Patience, you're a chef. You know what I mean? And it was the tastiest dish I've ever had. Well, African. But anyway, you know what I mean? It was something where I had to be open to not being, ew, that looks disgusting. But be open to experimenting, open to say, oh, you know what? It's not so bad. And gosh, you might like it. Yeah.
Tried chicken and tikka masala.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I have.
As a black woman professional, were there any barriers that you have faced in your career?
I believe I'm still facing them. My dream and my passion is to go mainstream with African cooking. And mainstream means Food Network, means everywhere. And I find I have done a few guest sessions with CTV. I go in like Black History Month. I had a TV show on Rogers TV. Unfortunately, they closed down the station. So there's still a little bit of, oh, will it be accepted? Will Canadians understand? Will Canadians understand without them thinking it's too complicated? So this is one of the barriers where I'm trying to educate people to say it's a simple meal. This could be done in less than 30 minutes. You have a whole meal for your children. Okay, so
I'm so excited to make this. Maria.
Excellent. So she will post I guess the committee will post the recipe online. I am open to any questions even after. I'm sure they'll forward to me. So if you have any questions or you'd like, I don't have a YouTube channel yet, but what does cooking mean to me? Everything. I find it unites people. I cook at the Loblaws downtown in what would you call it? Like the Rainbow Nation, and most of my guests are, transgender or gay, and they love the cooking. So I find it unites people because if you're open and not stuck on, oh, I'll never eat that, then for me, food means unity.
What advice or motivation would you give Black people and professionals going into the working field of cooking?
You have to have time. One of the reasons I am not necessarily in hotels cooking as a professional, I'm a certified chef here in Canada, is because my life is very busy. So my motivation is, do you love cooking? If you love cooking, do it. For me, I remember on a personal note, because you've asked me what motivated me in a way, right? Is I had just got divorced and I was looking at second career. And for me, it was like, okay, Patience, you've been, I'm an analyst by profession. And it wasn't my passion, but I love cooking. I've always cooked for my kids. My kids know that takeout isn't optional, but they love cooking and they love cooking with me. So if that motivates you and you love what you do, you can't go wrong. So that's what I would say to especially Black professionals. There's not a lot of us trying to break into the media, trying to educate people. I find still when I click on Food Network, Cooking Channel, whatever channel, we're still a handful. And I think that needs to change. It might not change overnight, but it's doable. So if your passion is cooking, please go for it. We need you. Oh, and by the way, humble yourself. I found working in kitchens, sometimes the chefs are rude. And you might take that personally, but it's just a matter of just being, do I love what I'm doing? Am I going to gain from this chef more than I lose? You know what I mean? Without being him disrespecting me, her disrespecting me. I'm here to learn. So that for me is very important. What are you there for? Learn and then use everything you learn to grow. Okay, I have enjoyed this. I look forward to closing with you guys. If you have any questions or any ideas or anything you'd like me to add to the next presentation, please feel free. I'm always open to ideas.
Thank you so much, Mom. At least I get to have the dinner. I'm
Uh-huh.
excited. I wanted to just take a moment and just tell you guys about Sheridan's Black Students Association. We are a club that runs all year long, but it is Black History Month, so happy first of the month, everybody. We are excited for all the events that the Students Union has outlined for you. We hope you come out. Chef P will be back at the end of the month with a new recipe, and as Mina said, she was trying it with her daughter, so I'm really happy that you all came out today. We look forward. Please follow us on Instagram. We are doing a bunch of contests and interactive stuff. My name is Hillary. I am your events coordinator, so I help put this together. Maria is in here. Wait, hi. She's our president. Few of our members came in and out, but I'm really happy that everyone came out today. And Students Union, take it away.
Thank you so much, Hillary, and thank you, Chef P, for having such a wonderful cooking show. I loved it, and I loved. I like it was my first time like watching someone cook like African food, and it was really good. And like you mentioned, it was so easy to make. So you really rocked it. So thank you. And so yeah, like Hillary mentioned about the Black Student Association, also you can also, if you want to be part of that club, you can also join that and support the club in its upcoming events, or like or like help them put together all the future events that they will be doing. That was it. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. We really appreciate you. And Chef P, we really appreciate for you to come in and teach us how to cook this delicious food. And I'm definitely sure that like our participants are gonna try that.